And good morning, everyone. I'm Donna Bush. As Tropical Storm Ida moves away from the Cayman Islands, officials gave the all clear for Grand Cayman at around 6 o'clock this morning. We go live now to Chief Meteorologist Kerry Powery at the Cayman Islands Weather Service. Good morning, Mr. Powery. I hope all is well at the Weather Service. Can you provide us with the latest forecast as of 10 o'clock this morning?
As of 10 o'clock, good morning, Donna. As of 10 o'clock this morning, Tropical Storm Ida was located at 20.7 north or 82.1 west. That's about 108 miles to the northwest of Grand. The maximum sustained winds are 65 miles per hour, and this movement continues to move towards the northwest at 50 miles per hour. Tropical Storm Ida is expected to become a hurricane later this afternoon as it nears western Cuba.
Okay, can you say, Mr. Powery, if there are any other systems that may be coming off the coast of Africa or in the Western Caribbean that we should be keeping an eye on at this time? There seems to be a lot of activity around us on the maps, but can you say if there's anything out there that we should really be keeping our eyes on at this point?
Not too much of a concern. Most of the tracks or the expectations of these systems are to remain into the central Atlantic. So no threat so far, at least for the next 5 days.
Okay, I think the expectations of the Cayman Islands residents, particularly here in Grand Cayman, was for a lot more to happen overnight, and it didn't. But what would you say to the public out there as we're in the thick of the hurricane season at this point? What would you say to residents to, keep them on their toes, basically, as the systems come off the coast of Africa?
Okay, we experienced a tropical storm, Grace, becoming a hurricane, and we've now experienced a tropical depression becoming a tropical storm, Ida. At the end of the day, both became tropical storms, but they gave us totally different weathers. Again, the only advice I could give right now is know your vulnerabilities and get the appropriate weather information or the current weather information so you'll be able to assess your current risk and you prepare accordingly. Like what we saw with Ida yesterday, there was a lot of jumping and shifting of positions, which would have dictated the changing of potential forecasts. Again, you have to bear that in mind. Things change, weather changes, and that's how you make adjustments on your plans going forward. So know your risk, get the current information, and then assess what you want to do at that time.
Okay. Mr. Powery, thank you very much for that update. And, of course, thank you to the team at the Weather Services for keeping us up to date on the weather systems around our area. Joining us now in studio is Danielle Coleman, the Director of Hazard Management, Cayman Islands. Danny, of course, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us. Can you tell us the latest, because we still have Kim and Brack well, I think they're fine now, but can you give us the latest on what's happening there?
Yeah, of course I can. Welcome, Donna. Thank you. Very good to be here. It's been a long 24, 30 hours of the operation. And again, we're ready. So we stood down the National Emergency Operations Centre this morning. We had the all clear for this Grand Cayman at 6 a.m. and the all clear for the Sister Islands will be at 11 o'clock today. We are, throughout the whole night, we've been talking with the Sister Islands, both the CERT teams in Little Cayman, of course, the District Commissioner in Cayman Brack. There's still a lot of weather out there. There's still a lot of rain coming down, bits of flooding. And the damage assessment teams have been out in both islands and obviously Grand Cayman as well. And there's not significant damage at all. But again, there's still hazards out there that we really want the public in the Cayman Brack and Little Cayman to be aware of. And so, obviously after 11 o'clock today with the all clear, make sure you're taking precautions. If you don't have to drive, I would suggest not doing so. There will be debris still out there. So please, again, make sure you're adhering to safety messaging.
So basically, the government has opened back up, as has other businesses on island, but you'd still want people to be cautious.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many hidden hazards after any storm. Again, we saw last week, we still got the debris on the road, and there's still wires down from last week, let alone yesterday, today. So just being very careful. We've actually deactivated all our shelters, both here and the Sister Islands. So we haven't got a need. There's not apparent vulnerabilities right now. We are sending X-ray 1 out, or we're working with X-ray 1 for the sister islands this around noon today to do a aerial recce. Sorry, it's been a long night. An aerial recce, and again, we should see more there. But we, as far as we can see, it looks good. But again, just making sure that you, members of the public, are taking the necessary precautions and not doing anything that's dangerous to themselves or anyone else. And again, check on neighbours. I mean, it's so important, wellness checks to everyone. The CERT team today will be going out doing some wellness checks, but we encourage anyone with neighbours around them just to do those checks, checking on your neighbour, checking on your family. And again, just, be aware that, this is next week or the week after is going to be the height of the season. So we could well have much more ahead of us, and we just want to make sure we're prepared for the whole season. And again, any other eventuality that may not be a hurricane, it could be anything else. So please stay safe. We saw obviously yesterday, as Kerry Parry said, it's a very different storm from last week. But these things jump around all night, and it's interesting. If you go to bed last night and then wake up this morning and think, okay, nothing's happened at all. But when you're following it throughout the night, it really does. It's so dynamic that we ask people to be prepared for anything. And again, it'll make your lives so much easier. And of course, our lives here at the National Emergency Operations Centre.
The important messaging is always about preparation is key. And I mean, just yesterday, we witnessed on Thursday how gas stations were overloaded, supermarkets were overloaded. And what would you say to that? And I mean, how can you reiterate to people the importance of staying prepared during the season and not having to do all this last minute preparation? Because it really does put everybody on edge, and it brings up your anxiety.
Absolutely. I mean, the traffic yesterday was appalling. We didn't actually get home yesterday to get changed or showered or whatever, because of course the traffic was so bad we stayed put. We're really encouraging people. Again, this time of year, you need to have your supplies already in. You don't want to be going to the supermarket. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for the traffic. It's not good for, if we have to do any kind of first response work. Traffic control is really, really difficult yesterday. So please, please, please make sure you're ready. We have some great resources on our website, caymanprepared.ky, both emergency family planning as well as supply kits and a full supplement of how to prepare your home, your animals, your this, your that, whatever else, shelters. It's all there. So please help us help you and get prepared for the rest of the season.
All right. Danielle, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you very much for that update. Again, with some 14 weeks before the end of this hurricane season, a reminder to you, the public, to stay tuned to reliable government sources for the latest unexpected weather conditions in our area. You can go online to weather.gov.ky, as well as caymanprepared.ky, gov.ky, and Radio Cayman for any updates on what's happening weather-wise here in the Cayman Islands. I'm Donna Bush, as always. Thank you for being here with us, and we'll keep you posted on anything that's happening throughout the day. You're a star.